Do you ever think about the prices you're paying for the snacks at the convenience store? Hi, Brian here, and welcome to TreeBud Academy. I make videos on business, advertising, and marketing, and I run a podcast. If you're new, welcome. I'd love for you to join the community by hitting that subscribe button down below. I actually had to write this script about 3 times, and this is the 4th time I'm recording this video. I didn't want to come across as being too callous or too casual, or even feeding into conspiracy theories about advertising and privacy. I think data use and privacy is an awareness problem right now. It's all these platforms and tools showing you it's just, a benign social media platform, for example, but not telling you that what's transacting here is actually your data. Okay, I'll level with you guys. I'm actually 100% okay with trading my usage data, my personal data, for convenience and the free use of these platforms and tools that I interact with on a daily basis. And I think looking through this lens of a trade, a transaction, is probably the best way to go about this conversation. And the analogy I want to use here is a convenience store. Walking into a convenience store, you know that the prices aren't going to be the cheapest. You're not going to be able to find amazing deals for that Snickers or Kit Kat bar that you want, or that bag of Cheetos. These are some of my favorite snacks. Everyone going into the convenience store knows what they're going into, and they understand the fact that they're paying a premium for the convenience of being able to purchase these snacks whenever they want. But I think this is the crux of the issue, is that data use and privacy nowadays on all these other platforms are not actually all that transparent and clear. And what Apple is doing, all these other tech giants are doing to shine a spotlight on this problem, raising awareness of this problem, is a great first step to making this ecosystem sustainable and thriving. And this is exactly what it is, an ecosystem. And right now the ecosystem is being very, very fragile. And just like any other ecosystem, all the players within the ecosystem has to participate and do their part to make it sustainable, to make it, in our case, ethical. So these 4 players within the ecosystem, the users, the platforms, the regulators, and the advertisers, we each have to play our part to make sure that the ecosystem continues to survive and the delicate balance between all the players are not disturbed and the ecosystem doesn't implode or collapse on itself. Let's start with users. We can all easily relate to being the consumers of these products. We as consumers and the users can vote with our wallet. Support companies and platforms that align with your principles and your thoughts on how data should be used or transacted or how they deal with your personal privacy. We have the immense power to send messages through how we use these products. Speaking of which, these platforms have never been incentivized to do beyond the bare minimum. So they just meet the rules and regulations placed on them and make sure that they do just enough so that they don't land in trouble. But going back to our earlier point, being consumers, we can vote with our wallets and we can tell these companies and platforms that we want them to do more than just the bare minimum. We want them to go above and beyond to make sure that they get our patronage. Okay, regulators, you definitely have to play a role in this as well, because the company may not respond quickly or swiftly enough to demand side pressure, but having a little pressure from regulators is also important. And I think when users and regulators come together to exert a little pressure on companies, a lot of good things can happen in very little time. But the crux of the issue here is making sure the pendulum doesn't swing too far one way or the other. You wouldn't want to pave the way for limiting the access of information or making it easier for mass censorship down the road. This is a can of worms that you don't want to open and kind of pave the way for a dystopian future that we all don't want. Again, the ecosystem is fragile, and too much on one side or one player or one element of the ecosystem can actually completely destabilize an ecosystem and make it collapse. Lastly, my fellow advertisers and marketers, we wield immense power. We deal in the business of persuasion, and this shouldn't be trifled with. We have to take this seriously. We have the power to elicit emotions and feelings out of people and ultimately spur them to take action, whether it's be to sign up for a newsletter or to purchase a product. Having this power, we should take a step back and not just look at, am I optimizing this campaign to the best of my ability, or am I squeezing every conversion out of this campaign? We should look at the bigger picture, make sure that the user experience is pleasant, and what we're doing is ethical. You're going to have to put more effort into running a successful campaign. The crutches of overly powerful targeting criteria are now gone. You're going to have to make sure your message, your creative works well with your audience, that you understand your personas well. All of this is just marketing 101. I truly believe that this has become a watershed moment. Gone are the days where mediocre ads can go out and you can bolster it by having really, really great targeting. I think the onus now is on everyone in this ecosystem, the users, the platforms, the regulators, the advertisers, to come together and figure out how we can make this ecosystem thrive and not tip the balance of power to any one particular party, or making sure that the ecosystem doesn't collapse in on itself. Now that privacy and data use has become top of mind, users and consumers growing up now, and sort of the ones who will have disposable income in the future, so in 5 to 10 years, all of this is going to matter to them so much more. And we're going to have to shift the way we interact with each other. And just as any ecosystem, if we don't adapt, we're just going to be selected out. That's it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching to the very end. I really appreciate it. If you enjoy content about business, advertising, and marketing, be sure to subscribe, like this video if you did, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of my new videos. Stay tuned.